Guys, how are we doing? Wednesday night. I'm hoping that the Facebook gods are not glitchy tonight, so I really apologise again. I've probably said that too many times and it's been annoying, but if you're coming through, let me know. Let me know if you're watching live, let me know if you're watching back. If for whatever reason we get cut back out, I'll come back in. If it keeps happening, I'm just going to pre-record it, stick it on YouTube and put it in for you. But let's go. Let's get this in. Hopefully we can have some good fortune tonight. Here we go. Okay, bang. Okay, bang, 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 bang. So if you're watching back, just be patient, or you can fast forward on. Okay, nearly there, and then hopefully we're going to start having people coming through. Let me know if you're watching live, guys. Hit the blue thumb button for me. I'm just letting people know that we are going live now. Okay, bang, send. Yes, send, boom, 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 send. Good, how are we doing? Hopefully we will get some success from tonight and we won't get thrown out. That is the key, right? That's the dream. Cool. Let me know if you're watching live, guys. Let me know how you found the challenge today. Let me know if it was a tough one for you. Let me know if it was a hard one for you. Okay, Mike, how we doing? Andy, how we doing? John, how we doing? Mike, how we doing? Good. So if you're coming through, guys, let me know how the challenge was for you. How we doing, Andrew? Hit the blue thumb button for me. Are you aching from yesterday as well? And hopefully you're getting enough value out of this, all right? And we're going to go through the priority sketch mindset in terms of where you are and what you're doing. Alan, good. Andrew, great. Good to see you guys in here. Hopefully we're ready to go all in. So guys, just joining us. It's a welcome, Kane. Let me know if you're coming in. Let me know if you're watching live. Hopefully we're going to be glitch free tonight and we can just have a good run of it and we can have a good chat and we can do some good coaching and you can get lots of value. Okay, watching challenging was sobering. Yeah, it's a tough one, right, Phil? It's tough. It's designed to be tough. It's designed to open you up your eyes. It's great, Kane. Good to have you live. Dominic, this challenge is, for me, the gold nugget of the challenge, right? It's the gold nugget of the 5 days. You know, if Monday didn't wake you up and Tuesday certainly didn't wake you up, today will kind of wake you up, all right? So we're going to get into this. So the first thing I want to do is on Sunday, I said that I was going to introduce an opportunity for you. Now, I just want to really introduce this to you. And that is really for this is specifically for any blokes that are just like lacking structure, lacking direction, lacking character or identity, or just struggling to live life. All right. What we're about in the Man Coach is not about short, quick fixes. What we work on and how we work with men is in a very specific way. And the way that we see this is that to rewire the way that we live and rewire the way that we think and rewire the way that we show up, we have to work on ourselves mentally and emotionally and physically, okay? There has to be a build-up of habits, routines and structure. There has to be a movement. Now, for any man to change, I truly believe, having worked with thousands of men now, and having hundreds in our mastermind and hundreds come through the 28-day challenge, it takes a good year to really ingrain change. And change comes in a way of the way that we see the world, okay? It's about approaching problems, distractions, chaos in a different way. It's about learning to be in control of your emotions. It's learning to be consistent. It's learning to have clarity. It's learning about who you are. And the way that we do that is by educating guys, if you like, how to live again. And we kind of go through life, right? You kind of go through this journey of junior school, secondary school, college, or uni. And you kind of go through a system of learning, personal development. You know, our brains are taking in loads. And we kind of leave that system somewhere along the way, and then we join the real world. And in our 20s and 20s to 30s, we don't tend to think too much or have too much stress or too much responsibility. Some of us are dads early, some of us are not, some of us have careers early, some of us don't. We're all different. But just in general, we don't really have hit any responsibilities until we kind of get to late 20s, early 30s, when we marry, when we have kids, when suddenly we're stuck in a job that we never thought we were going to be stuck in. And then suddenly responsibilities start heaping up. And it's from about that point onwards that we start wondering, well, where am I going? Now what? I've got a house, I've got a job, I've got 2 kids, I've never got any time to train, I've never got any time for myself. I really don't know what I'm doing. I'm just existing. I'm just sleepwalking. And that's where men get to, is that point, and they drift. Men just drift. And they go through life and they self-sabotage and they thrive for the weekend or the Friday night with a beer to make them feel alive. And sometimes that's what they result to. And along the way we get depressed because our brains are not active, self-negative talk. We become anxious because we have no control of our emotions or no control of our belief system and who we are. We have trust issues. We then struggle to communicate with our kids, with our wife. We struggle to have understanding. And it suddenly becomes a pity party. And the next thing you know, you've got 2 stone around your belly because you let yourself go. The next step is that your mind is fried. You're overwhelmed. You're going through an apocalyptic thinking process, and then you hit 40s, and then some of you are divorced, some of you are going stressed, some of you hate your career, and you end up in career jail, and it's a misery. And along the way, the thing that I realized about myself was that I haven't re-educated myself how to live. I haven't re-educated myself in terms of values, principles, in terms of structure, habits, routines. And when I started researching, when I started self-studying, when I invested in courses and coaches and mentors, I just embracing lots of learning, like what you're doing here, listening to me. Okay, some of you would think maybe this is not you. Some of you would think like it is you. Everyone's different. Okay, and what we do at the Man Coach, and it's not me because it is a team. It's a movement. The Man Coach is a movement of men, and we are globally trying to change the way that men think, trying to change the way that men show up, trying to change the way that men handle their relationships with their wife. They're trying to be the leader for their wife, for their kids. We're trying to change the way that you look at your career, that you look at your health. We want you to be lean, fit for life. Okay, and I don't believe you can do all of that in a quick fix. Now, the way that we introduce people into that system, into that way of thinking, into that building of positivity, into that way of altering and changing the way that you think and the way that you show up and the way that you parent and the way that you husbander, become a husband, the way that you show up at your job or your business is through our 28-day challenge. Now, the 28-day challenge is more of a fundamental program. Now, we have 15 educational modules in there. Some of them are tough in terms of self-awareness, recognizing yourself. Some are educational in terms of building a morning routine, building a transition routine for learning how to transition out of work, learning to create rules in your life, learning to plan forwards, creating your missions, learning how you got to this place in the first place, learning time management, daily plan. And it's a back to basics type of course. And we do it with huge amounts of accountability. The key thing for men is that they need constant kicking up the backside. All right? Because if they don't, they slip off and they fall off. Now, the way that we have done this, and we have run this course for 4 years, and every single course, we run 6 or 7 courses a year. It's going to be less next year. And every single time we find a better way to make sure that we are on top of you. Now, there are 2 rules, okay? There are 2 rules to doing this course. And I'm going to pre-warn you now. Number 1 is you must show up at least 1% a day. I'm not expecting you to be in a good place. I'm not expecting you to be fit. I'm not expecting you to be the dog's bollocks. You are coming into the program to be the dog's bollocks, to be the elite operator, to build your mission, to follow a process and build your identity. That's the whole point of you coming to me and my team. We've all had 2-3 years of experience. We've all trained thousands of guys coming through the 28-day program and constantly do it on a daily basis in our Brotherhood Mastermind. And when you come into us, okay, we will take you through accountability systems to make sure you're showing up for your morning routine. Accountability systems to make sure that you're planning your number 1 priorities in each of your pillars, that you are looking at your breakthroughs. There are 2 Zoom workshops which last anywhere between 2 and 3 hours, where you'll work with me personally on the first Saturday and usually the 3rd Saturday or Thursday. So you're able to come in and I will coach to you, and I won't have to talk to my phone, but I can talk to your face and talk to you, and you can talk back to me and we can have a conversation. And it's an empowering experience. There are 12 mindset tips or hacks or focuses along the way to keep you in line. There are ambassadors who are men that have gone through this 5-day and have worked with me for the last 4, 5, 6 years, who would then take the ethos and check it in with you consistently, making sure you're doing what you said you were going to do. Okay, and it is turbo important that you have that accountability, that support, and that structure along the way. There are workouts. We will teach you how to track your calories and manage your calories. And that is the byproduct of you becoming a much more controlled human being. The outcome at the end of 28 day is to take you from maybe a 2, a 3, or 4, or whatever you are, up by 2 or 3 stages. We want to get you from a 2 to a 6. We want to get you from a 3 to a 7. We want to get you from a 5 to an 8. Okay, and with constant drive, direction along the way, finding out who you are, finding out your process, building your character along the way. Okay, so what we have decided to do, because we haven't been able to give you the delivery that we wanted to, we're going to knock 50% off, and we haven't done this like ever. Okay, as you're in this challenge, and as you're here, the program is normally 250, but we are going to do it for 125, which, guys, is an absolute no-brainer. Okay, it's a no-brainer. There are £600 worth of bonuses that are going along with this. There is the group Zoom call with me next week. Okay, so I'm going to take you through the app. I'm going to tell you how to best approach this, how to go about this in terms of having the right mindset to approach the 28 days. You're going to get an extra week. So it's actually 5 days, it's actually 5 days, 5 weeks, not 4 weeks. So you get a bonus week. You'll be starting as soon as Monday. All right, we'll be getting you in a group, getting you prepared on the pre-course tasks. Okay, you will get the mental resilience video series, which is a 7-video series of nearly 90 minutes of content on building your mental resilience. You will get the Zero to Hero fitness program, okay, which has nearly 60 workouts on, okay, including kit and non-kit, including mobility sessions and warm-ups, okay. And you will get offered, you'll get £125 off the program, and you'll be offered 20% off our Remember the Mission seminar, which is on the 27th of November. It's the biggest event for men in the UK this year. And we're already up to like 95% capacity in terms of how many people we can take on that. So the bargain's there, guys. It's like a no-brainer. And I can guarantee you, like, if you show up for the whole of the 28 days plus the bonus week, and at the end of that time, if you can turn around to me and say to me that you are not in a different position in life, I will not only give you your money back, all of it, I will donate that same amount, the same fee, to a charity of your choice. And in the 4 years, okay, in the 4 years, and we have never had to do that. We have never, ever had to do that. We have nothing but positivity about the course. It is a game changer. I have done nothing but research on what men are doing or what they need, and we have spent a lot of time building this up. If you're interested, the brochure is in the post, not in the post to you, but I'm going to put it in this comment here. Let me just put that there. I'm going to pin that, and you can see it in that post. Opportunity for those men wanting to work. All right, guys. So let's get into tonight. Priority. You being the priority. When you sit in an aeroplane and you are sitting there, and I know while your missus is not looking, you're eyeing up the stewardess. But when you have to look at the stewardess and she says to you, okay, please make sure that you're watching us. The first thing that she does is put the oxygen mask over your face. You must put your oxygen mask on before helping other people. The reason that you have to do that, because if you don't, you will pass out and you're fucking useless without having that oxygen on your face. You're the chief fuck all. Is that you, chick? Okay. You all right? What's the matter? Oh, God. All right. So you will get, you will be passing out on the floor, not able to help your own family unless you put this oxygen mask on. The same analogy and theory is true in real life. If you are not putting on your own oxygen mask first, if you are not taking care of you first, if you are not the priority, how can you be the leader of your family? How can you be the best that you can be in your career? How can you make sure that you're showing up for everybody? Okay, and that analogy, that theory is essential to understand in terms of you moving forwards. Now I'm going to show you two models, okay, two models. One model is where we want to get you. The other model is where I feel most of you are. So, this model here. So if you think about this pyramid, I always kind of think of it as the world. This is your world. Work, family, health, PD. And I've kind of done it in order of priorities where I feel most men are. Now, looking through the priorities that you all wrote today, a lot of people are like, oh yeah, it's the kids, it's my wife. And for a lot of people, don't take it the wrong way. If the shoe fits, if you're lying to yourself, you're really not doing yourself any favors. It's really tough to take. When you're putting you or your family last in your line of your priorities, it's really hard to visually look at that. Because work for many men, and remember I've spoken to a lot of men, overwhelms and dictates family life. It dominates your time. We weren't put on this planet to work and then die. There are two greatest moments of our lives. The first moment is when we were born. And the second moment is realizing why we were. And when you realize that second greatest moment, that's when you suddenly found purpose, fulfillment, and direction. And I always used to think to myself when I was working away and I was slugging away and I completely lost track of my time, I was like, this is not what I'm here to do. I'm not here to burn myself out and earn my next paycheck. I'm here, I've got to do something bigger. There's something bigger. There's a bigger calling, and every single one of you has that absolute fucking potential to do that. You all have to look at that thing that you are willing to die for and go all in following it. What do you want? Where's that escapism? Where's that adventure? Where's that passion? And listen, we all have to work. It doesn't mean sell up your house and go traveling around the world, but it means finding adventure within that life. It means self-discovery. It means positivity. It means positive self-chat. But when we're in this position and you are carrying the weight of the world above your shoulders, you're taking all the responsibility. You're soaking up all of the pressure, self-pressure. You're getting caught in the chaos, the frustration, the stress, the lack of time, the lack of an organization. And that is killing you. No time. How many times have you said to you, I've got no time. I've got no time to play kids. I've got no time for date night. I've got no time to work out. Okay? I've got no time to watch Babe Station. Fucking hell. And then people say to me, well, I've got a job and it fucking, you know, and I work 14 hours a day and I get in and I'm like, is that sustainable? Is that why you're here? You are more than capable of changing your job role. You can change your job role. You could have a 6-month plan to be able to get out of the job that you're in and find another job. Get yourself a decent CV writer, get your CV written up, start applying for jobs, start interviewing, building up experience, and make the changes that you need to change. Because there's no one come to save you. You have to be able to do this shit yourself. There is time, you're just not prioritizing that time, and that's what's key, right? Guys, are you with me so far? If you're with me so far, just hit the blue thumb button. Just allows me to know that you're catching up. No direction. The old analogy, okay? So if you've read my book, It's a State of Mind, you would have noticed the passage where I talk about the boat being in the ocean. And that boat being in the ocean with no sail or no bearing, what does it do? It drifts. It just drifts. Has no set place that it's going. It's just floating there. And that is where many people are, because they have no direction where they're going in life. Remember, I talked how we evolve through life. Like if I asked you right now, if you were sat here in front of me and I said, where are you going with your life? Where do you want to be in 5 years? Where do you want to be in 10 years? Where are you going? Do you know what I'm saying? And like, unless you have that map and compass, you put your bearing on and you sail on and you go there, and it might not, at the start, it might be the right place. We might have to change direction. We might have to change bearing, but it's better to be on some fucking path rather than none at all, where you like literally don't know where you're going. Because that's drifting, that's existing, that's sleepwalking, that's creating the depression, the anxiety, the mental issues, health issues. And then it becomes a pity party. You become your own victim. People don't like that, but it's truth. Lost identity. So through that process, through this scenario, we lose who we are. We lose who we are. That's what went wrong with me. When I left the military, I was a Sergeant Royal Marine. I was a PTI physical trainer. I had been a previous sniper. I trained men to be ready for war. I knew my purpose. I knew my direction. I belonged to something. I had identity. When I left that, I left Friday, and then I ended up coming to the college to start work on the Monday. That's not enough transition to suddenly change. You know, I was still Sergeant James Bourman for like a year and a half in there. Fighting, I was still forcing a routine and a lifestyle that I had in the military in the civilian world. I didn't know who I was. I didn't know where I was going. Whereas the difference 10 years later is that I'm standing here in front of you and I know exactly what I stand for. And it hasn't come easy, and there's been many battles, there's been many mental battles, there still is many mental battles. I'm not immune to chaos and frustration and stress. I just can handle it a lot better. I can just put it into more perspective because I invest in myself, I work on myself, and that is important. If I just sat on the sofa watching Netflix, drinking a beer, feeling sorry for myself because Facebook fucked me over for the first 2 nights, what type of leader would you be? What type of coach would you be? You have to be able to adapt and evolve, and that's where this comes in. This fort, right? Kids nicking my pens. This fort, we build it because we're protecting that state of mind, because if your state of mind is in the right place, you make the right decisions. You handle your business so much better. And that's what we teach. My theory, my ethos that I'm teaching you, that's what we teach men. That's what we're teaching the hundreds of men in our mastermind right now, every single day. We've just literally done a mental resilience course for them all. And over those 7 videos they've all watched, it's just become making sense about how your mind works. So along the process, you build your identity, right? You build that identity as you go along. Victim mentality. Victim mentality is rife. As soon as we start nosediving in life, okay, that's when we go, oh, woe is me. Oh, fucking no one else. Do you know? 2 arms, good. 2 legs, good. Breathing, yep. Still got my 2 eyes, good, I can see. Then let's put it into perspective, right? Let's look at the guys at the Paralympics. Let's look at some of my veteran friends who have one arm. Let's look at some of the veterans who have lost their sight. Let's look at people who have lost their children. Let's look at people who have no money and live on the streets and only own a sleeping bag. Do you know what I mean? When you start putting it into perspective, it's like, wake the fuck up, because there is nothing wrong with your life. You have just built up this picture of your life to be a complete pity party. And because there is no gratitude in your life, because you don't anchor yourself to realize what you have, we lose control of that perspective. That's the chaos carrying us away, right? And it's hard to take, it's hard to listen to. Some of you won't like it, some of it will make sense, some of you will recognize yourself. And it's down to you how you reciprocate that, how do you process what I'm saying. But every time you start feeling sorry for yourself, start thinking about people who have never even seen a mobile phone, who don't even have a roof over their head. There's a poor bloke who I see every single morning. Every single morning I take him a cup of coffee. I give it to him there, he sleeps in the same shelter, he drinks the coffee. When I come back from my morning routine, I wash the cup up, bang, and we go down again. Bloke lost everything. Gambling. So when you look at perspective, when we have a higher level of thinking, when we have a stronger state of mind, we change the game. This becomes this, which I'll talk about in a minute. Self-negative chat. I'm not good enough. That bloke's better than me. My missus deserves better. Self-negative chat is like a hamster wheel. The more we do it, the faster it goes, the more it inflicts negative thoughts, the more depression, the more anxiety, the more victim. How about start waking up and going, I'm good enough. Man, I'm ready to go. Man, let's do this. Man, I'm not letting that guy dictate my mood. I'm going to keep showing up. I'm going to keep pushing forwards. I'm going to keep changing the game. Man, you better be ready for me. World, you better be ready. Like every single morning you do that positive affirmation. I'll be doing morning routines tomorrow. But my morning routine is to prepare myself physically, mentally, and emotionally. Build my mind mentally, physically, emotionally before the rest of the world wakes up and distracts it. That's my mission statement in the morning. That's why I get up in the morning. Okay, I'll talk more about that later. So this kind of bubble, and even just talk about it, even just talking about it invokes negative thoughts, right? But we have to, because we have to recognize where we are. Like Monday, like the life audit, we have to understand where we are. Now we're going to look at the good stuff. All right, so this is a dude, okay? This is where I want everybody to be at the end of the 28-day challenge. We want to go from you here, and we want to be up here, in control. All right, health being a priority, then family, personal development and work. Okay, we do this by building the elite operator mindset. Now, obviously, because of the lives, I really hope you watched the first live. You would have seen that I talked about the elite operating mindset. I haven't really been able to enforce the principles of the man coach and what we do just because of all the lives. So the elite operating mindset is the alter ego that we carry around in our head. Okay, he's kind of like that little guy in there. He's like a special forces soldier in there. Okay, that mentality. You know, I work with a lot of special forces in the military, and I love their professionalism, like meticulous. That mindset. It's just black and white, you know. And I very much had that mindset too. And when it comes to personal accountability, it helps us show up. When we look ourselves in the mirror, we can be honest and go, I'm not showing up the way that I should be showing up. I'm not making the decisions that I need to be making. And as we build that elite operating mindset up, he helps us build this state of mind. He reinforces the pillars. He reinforces what we're trying to achieve as men, right? Trying to improve the way we hit our health or complete our mindset, or that relationship with our wife or our kids. Because if you're not doing it right, that little alter ego, that shadow that follows us, is questioning you and challenging you. And the more you connect with that, okay, the stronger you can be. It's the counter to the monkey mind, to the chimp. Okay, the chimp is short, it's sharp, it doesn't want you to succeed. The alter ego, the elite operator, is the counter. Okay, makes sense? Okay, RTM. Okay, remember the mission. The mission is your direction. The mission is the long-term vision. Something that we teach on the 28 days, how you go about creating your 10-year vision. A vision is just an idea about where you would love to be. Don't be the typical man where we overthink everything and you're like, well, it's got to be exact. It's just some idea about where you want to be. And what we end up doing is creating a 10-year vision here. And then we kind of create milestones about checkpoints, if you like, about how to get there. So this is where I want to be, this is where I want to be, this is where I want to be. Great. What do I need to achieve in the first year to achieve my 10-year vision? Where do I need to be? Where do I need to be physically with my health, with my personal development, with my relationship and with my business? And then all of a sudden, you have this year goal. And then we break it down into what do I need to achieve in my first quarter, in my first 12 weeks. And obviously I'm skimping through this. This is like a 2-hour seminar to teach this. In fact, I'm teaching this in Birmingham on Saturday week for people who are coming on board to create a mission in Birmingham. And we're doing it from 9 in the morning to 2:30. And we're going to build up this 10-year vision and reverse engineer it. But basically, you reverse engineer it to what you do in your first quarter. And in your first quarter, you break it down into 3 28-day checkpoints. And then all of a sudden, you know where you want to be, okay, in the first 28 days. And it's all relative to meeting that long-term vision. It's not random. It's like, this is what I need to do in the first 28 days to achieve my 12-week goal, to achieve my year goal, to achieve my 5-year goal, to achieve my 10-year vision. Can that make sense? So everything's relative. Hope that makes sense. Let me know. But having that gives us that control, that direction, that clarity that we're looking for. 1% a day. The feeling of progression. We want that, right? We want to feel like we're progressing in life. Like you will be here. Like despite the nightmare that we've had, those that are still engaged in this process, surely that you've moved forward a couple of percent. Like each day you've probably found a 1% day, right? Or am I wrong? The guys that haven't engaged in it and they've walked away and have gone back to this, the guys that don't engage in this program, in these 5 days, are the guys that are in here. The guys that are in here. If you look at my ads, if you read through the comments on the ads that advertise this course, you'll see some negative ones. They're fun to read, right? The good entertainment, the good content. A lot of those lads are here in this. You guys who want to open up, who are willing to drop the ego, who are willing to open up and learn, you guys are here. You're in 1% mode. And you would have grown in some way or form. And that's what my aim, our aim as the Man Coach team and organisation over the 28 days is to move you 1% every single day for 28 days, plus the bonus weeks. That's 5 weeks. Okay, that's 5 sevens. That's 35 days. That's 35 wins. Imagine how many big wins you have along the way. And then all the lads that have been in the mastermind. We got lads who have been in the mastermind who have literally just joined us to have been with me for 5 years. Imagine how many wins they have. Because when you get to that year and it becomes natured. Sorry, proper tongue-tied tonight. You suddenly, you click it. It's like the Matrix. He's like forcing the Matrix. He's trying to do Kung Fu with everything. And at the end, he's just like one hand Kung Fu and he's just got it. He can just see the Matrix. And that's when you change. You can ask any man that's been in with us for that amount of time. You just get it. And then suddenly I'll get a message going, the penny dropped, JB. The penny just literally dropped. And you just handle your business in a different way. The 3 C's. Now I've talked about these. Like this is what's putting us up here. Consistency of action, okay? Consistency of 1% action, okay? Control of your time, your energy, your productivity, and your balance. And then clarity of where you're going. Remember the mission and how you're going to get there. Remember, sailing boat bearing that way. DPD. We need a little dose and sprinkle of desire to achieve. Passion, like I'm passionate about this job and I hope it comes across that way. Like I'm passionate about helping blokes out. I'm passionate about changing the world and men. We are on a mission to change as many men on this planet as we can until the day that I die. You know, we've got another 30, 40 years ahead of us and we are going to bring men into our movement. We are going to change the way that they think and we're going to attack this mental health thing. They're going to chat. There was too many marriages being broken. There are too many people drinking too much to try and solve their problems. There are too many broken relationships with their kids. That is why we have to be the role models. That's the passion. That's the desire. That's the emotional connection to wanting everybody to be better. And then there's the drive, the hunger, the fire. That's the emotion, okay? So creating this here creates this. It doesn't create it overnight. Don't ever think that this is going to happen for you overnight. Don't let anyone say to you, oh, you can change your life overnight. In 28 days, you will not be the final product. I'm not going to promise you you're going to be the final product, but I'm going to promise you that you will be in a far better place mentally, emotionally, and physically than you've ever been. Like, you will feel that after the first week. There is no two way. Once we've had our first workshop, you will go away and you will be like, fucking Hulk smash. Boosh. Right, guys. Somebody asked me a question. I'm going to answer it quickly before I answer all the other questions. James, what would you score yourself on your audit? Today, health, I'd score 9. Personal development, I'd score 8. Based on what I'm focusing on, which is golf. That's my personal development thing. Relationships, 9, solid. And then business, probably about an 8. The thing is when you get close to a 10, guys, never score yourself 10. You never want to peak. This is what I would have told you on the first night. Okay. When you get close to a 10, it's time to step up, right? If you look at it like this, okay. Okay. Okay, so if you look at this as a step, all right, so this is 0. This is step 1. So for many of you here right now on the 5-day challenge, let's say you're at level 1, chapter 1, whatever you want to call it. By the end, when you join this program, you might have been what? Maybe, let's say on average, looking at the scores, a 4 overall. Let's just say you were a 4. Let's say by the end of the 5 days, you feel like you're an 8. Okay, let's say you're an 8, which is good because we're getting closer to the 10. Now, you might come on to our 28-day program. You might be like, I'm going for this. I need this. I need to invest it. Let's go. By the end of the first week, I reckon that most of you will feel like you're pushing 10. And all that you will do is then step up. And how we step up is that we change the game. We change the expectations of ourselves. We raise our levels in terms of, I've been running 5K for this long, I'm going to run 10K. I've been pushing my routines Monday through to Friday in the mornings. Now I'm going to work on the evening routine. So we just up the amount that we can condition. The only way that I can really explain this as an analogy is imagine if you deadlift. I'm pretty much sure everyone knows what a deadlift is. If you were a beginner and I was training you in a gym, I would just be training you on the bar so that you would become conditioned in terms of the technique, keeping your back straight, driving up through your glutes, etc. And then in the second week, I'd probably put 5s on. Third week, I'd probably put 15s on either side. And then with fourth week, we'd probably reconfirm everything we're doing with the 15. So over a 4-week span, if you were deadlifting, you would go from 0 to about a 10 on level 1. Now, step 1 might be just a 30 kilogram deadlift, okay? And then we go on to a 50 kilogram, and then we go on to 70, then 90. And every time we get close and we absolutely smash that weight, we're ready to go to the next weight. And then we're ready to go to the next weight. And that's the way I see our own personal development. Another way to look at this is that if you like jiu-jitsu, I love jiu-jitsu and grappling. Okay, when I first started, I was a no belt. Then I become a white belt. Then I get some stripes. You get 4 stripes. That took 3 years. And then I become a blue belt. So that would be my white belt here. I'm almost at the 10 because that's the max I can be as a white belt. Then fucking I'm up a level. And then I'm rocking with other people. I'm like, right, fuck, whole stand, another standard. Let's go again. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. I was off on a tangent there. Right, let's answer these questions that you lads have put in here. and then I'll open up the floor to see if there's any more questions at all. Okay, all right, let's do this. Okay, 8 questions. Let's do this. What time is it? We've got plenty of time. We're all right. We're winning. We're winning, guys. I'll literally probably start this next question and it would probably throw me out. So, I've finished reading your book this week. Amazing. Which is amazing. I might add, it's really helped me to start to get out of this funk. I'm really pleased. Thanks, Guy. And I've been thinking about my why for making the changes I'm making and as long, and I think it always comes back to my daughter and this girl I used to date, but I'm still friends with. Is this stupid why for making my changes? 100% not. So a why to change is always your emotional connection. Motivation is just not strong enough, okay? I briefly explained this yesterday. Now, look, if you're in a bar and you see your missus chatting to another guy, you get a pang of jealousy, right? If your 14-year-old son pisses you off, you get angry. If your wife cracks a joke or takes the piss out of you, you laugh. They are all emotions that we experience. And those emotions don't last forever. We don't stay laughing. Or we'll be walking around going, ha ha. Like, we don't go around, well, sometimes go around permanently angry, okay, or permanently jealous. We don't naturally. Can you imagine how exhausting that would be? Motivation is exactly the same. If you are watching this, or you go on YouTube and you watch something, you don't stay motivated. Because once you stop watching the video, when the alarm clock goes tomorrow, you're like, oh, fuck it, I'm not motivated. Do you know what I mean? I've got no, like when the 5-day challenges, if you decide not to come and train with us and continue the journey, like next week, you're like, I don't need that. Next week, I'm on it. And then Tuesday, you've lost all motivation. You've lost all drive. It's like the emotion, right? When you fall out of love with someone, you just don't love anymore. So there has to be something more. There has to be something much deeper, a deeper level, something that's going to say, hey, look, get up. When people tell me it's their kids, that's their why. And then I'm like, hey, Johnny, why didn't you fucking get up last week at all? We were meant to do our morning routine and you got up once out of 5 times. Oh, you know, it's just so hard to get up. It's fucking morning. I'm not a morning person. Same fucking bullshit excuses that we always get. And now I turn around and say, but you said that Lily was your why. So basically you're saying that your little girl is not enough to get you up. Like that. And when you suddenly say it like that to somebody who said that their little girl is their motivation, that's like a real kick in the face, man. Someone's just punched you in the face and said that your kid isn't good enough for you to get up. You have to have that connection. My emotional connection is that the one day that I don't show up is the one day that somebody might decide to go, oh, I've had enough in this life and top themselves. It might be the one day that one guy thinks that he's going to leave his family. It could be the one day that somebody who is sober got so overwhelmed and decides to have a drink and break their streak just because I didn't show up for one day. That is my emotional connection to showing up for blokes. Because if I don't show up, it gives you the excuse for you not to show up. And I'm a big believer in you lead from the front. If you're a coach, you're a mentor, you fucking lead from the front every single time. There is no 2 ways about it. Yes, you might not be perfect. Yes, you still might struggle. You're a human being. But there has to be behind your why an emotional connection, an understanding about why you have to show up. Because if you don't, you're fucked. There's nothing I can say or do that's ever going to change the way that you are going to live your life. And you have to embed this stuff into you. You have to immerse it into you. It has to be your DNA. And the only way that you can make it your DNA is by showing up every day, having accountability, having direction, having drive, being the elite operator in your mission. Make sense? I hope so. I still need more. Thank you, JB, for caring. I really have taken so much already. Amazing, Glenn. Good to hear that, dude. Most of the time when things are good, I don't feel the need to keep trying. How do I keep focused? Most of the time when things are good, I don't feel the need to keep trying. So I think when it comes to that, you end up kind of complacent, right? complacency kicks in there, I would say. So you will live a life like this. This is how, so when I talk about the alternative, what's the alternative to not keep thriving and pushing all the time? It's a case of going, right, fuck it, let's get on it. I'm on it. Let's go. Okay, this usually happens New Year's Eve, okay, or after a birthday, or after you've been on the piss all weekend with the lads. So this lasts, what, 2 weeks? And then we have this attitude that Nathan's has go, oh, I don't feel I need to keep trying. Great. So let's slump for 4 weeks. Cool. Right. Enough moaning, victim mentality. Right. Let's fucking get on it. Right. 2 weeks. Yeah. That's enough of that fucking cycle. You become a mountain range. Okay. Up and down, up and down, up and down. Hey, listen, if you want to live your life like that, dig out. Okay. If you want to live your life a little bit more like this, this pen's shit. 2 secs. If you want to live your life a little bit more like this, steady growth, 1% a day. You don't need to take over the world. You don't need to change the world. Okay. Sean, that's the book. It's the state of mind. Stop existing, start living. Second book's out next month, guys. Can't tell you any more. That's all I can tell you. Stephen, been trying to prioritise my ex over myself as she has BPD and can go weeks without talking, but then says all the right things when we do talk and hope I can help her. Since I've discovered you and your podcast, I'm realising I have to put myself first, and they have helped me a lot. Would you ever draw the line and say it's not happening again? Or would you still help and think there is hope down the line, but not put her on the priority list and stop your heartache? Steve, so I think if I'm trying to get this right, you're constantly keeping yourself in the loop, right? You're kind of trying to keep yourself in the loop with the hope that you're going to get back together, right? Does that make sense? So my thought is, number one, are you clinging on to something that's not happening, and is that stripping you of time and energy of your life? Or is the possibility of going, hey, look, I got to fucking call this. I got to call this, and I'm going to go and fucking find my new chapter. Because one way or another, it's going to make you miserable. You're going to stay in that like clinging mode, and it's going to make you miserable because it's never going to happen. Or you're going to say goodbye, it's going to make you miserable, but on the other side of misery, you're going to be happy. I fucking hope that makes sense. Hey, just call me the relationship coach. But it's true, right? Don't cling on to something that's not there. Any advice for night shift workers who do a lot of split sleeps to be able to do the school run? Getting a regular pattern of routine for sleep is not an easy task, and my sleep is definitely one of many problems, as 2 single days off, I go back, being awake, blah, 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 blah. There are some advantages. Keeping these questions super short, right, guys? There are some advantages to this, but in general, it is negative. So number one, get another fucking job. Like, Kev, like if the shifts are killing you and you're miserable and you're unhappy, find another job. Like, spend the next 6 months to 12 months planning it. Get your CV, get it squared away, get a 9 to 5, start up your own business, do a side hustle, whatever it's going to be. The other option is that, look, if your sleep is struggling, usually we struggle to sleep because we're so overwhelmed. Our brains are so active, right? Then maybe we need to work on more transitional work. So like, hey, look, more routine work. So if you have one particular shift, you might have, this is routine A. If you have another shift, that's routine B, routine C. And what you might have is a set routine for each shift that you do. That creates familiarity, and that allows you to be able to follow some sort of system, some sort of structure that gives you control. Remember the 3 C's: consistency, so consistency of action, control of time and energy and balance, and then clarity of what you're trying to achieve and why. So I'd probably either say build up your little routines or find another job. Chris, I have injury sustained during a knife attack. This summer, what flare up when I get cold? When it's December, wet, cold and dark, is it cheating if I use a treadmill in my home for runs? Fuck, no way, mate. Exercise is exercise, mate. whether you're having sex with your missus or running on a treadmill, it's still exercise, right? Cool. So guys, how have you found tonight? I really hope you've enjoyed it. The details for the 28-day challenge are on this pink link, pinned comment here or on the page. Go and check it out. See if it's something that you want to get involved with. I can promise you it will fucking change. It's like literally a no-brainer. If you're sitting there going, I need to change my life, this is going to fucking change your life. Okay, so do yourself a favor, invest in yourself, and we will see you as soon as fucking Monday, ready to go. I really hope that I'm so pleased that we got to have a night live, okay? It's been so annoying. And by the way, the programs that we don't run on social media. There is the platform that we run is on a app called Mighty Networks, and everything is run through a non-social media platform, which I believe social media is too much of a distraction. It's unreliable, as we found out this week. And we're able to deliver so much more value via this platform that we're doing, all right? Questions. I'm going to stay on for another 5 minutes, answer any questions that you have, whether it's about tonight, whether it's about the program, whether it's about something you want to ask, but keep it short and sharp, guys. I'm only on my phone and I can't read essays. Let's keep it blunt and to the point. Just that like awkward 2 minutes while you guys are typing, or I hope you're typing. Questions. It's all a discovery, right, guys? Just while you're typing, hopefully typing questions. All right, here we go. I'm ready to do this. How can I overcome my drinking habit? So, really good question. And we do this, a lot of the guys in the mastermind are doing this right now, okay? And what we're doing is going on a streaks. So they're holding themselves accountable. So one lad did a year, and every single day he showed up and posted in the group, day 1, day 2, day 3. And it started with that 1%, right? And by the end, before you know it, he'd done 364 days. And it was huge. It was massive. You have to understand why you don't want to drink, okay? You have to understand why you do not want to drink. Okay, if you're drinking a lot, then one of the things that we have to process and start introducing is going, what days am I not going to drink, all right? So for me, I only drink on Fridays and Saturdays, and I limit the drink that I have. I haven't been drunk since New Year's Eve 2018, because I just was, the next day, 4 days, I struggled with a hangover, and I was like, I'm not drinking again, to the excessive point where I'm hungover, because I hate being out of control. And for many guys that we've helped drink, like we've had guys who've used to drink every single night, so we go, right, okay, week 1, we're just going to drink, okay, Tuesday to Sunday. Week 2, Wednesday to Sunday. Then it's going to be like Thursday to Sunday. So we slowly integrate out, right, and really understand the benefits of it. But being accountable, I think, is absolutely key. Thank you for tonight's talk, JB. Great analogy. Signed up for the 28-day. Everyone is different, but you have a general daily routine with key points to try and hit. 100%. Thanks, dude. Appreciate it, man. And look forward to working with you. See you in the group next week. John, guys, if you've signed up tonight, John, who's my number 2, he's been with me for I've been working with him since 2015. So he come through this system, 28 days into the mastermind. And he actually works for me now. Everybody that works for me has come through this system. Okay, everybody who helped me run the Man Coach has been where you are now, has gone through it. And I think that's that's the ingredients of making a really strong team, because we can understand you. We've all been there. And I think that's what's really important to understand, guys. Richard, I absolutely love that. The biggest feedback that I ever get is when family and friends start noticing, or you suddenly become a 10 times better husband, or your kids notice you. You know, when I get those messages where somebody's gone out with their kids for the day and the kids have turned around and said, God, Dad, I love you, and you haven't heard that for ages, the most amazing feedback. Regarding mental health, doing well 1 year plus, then like a flick of a switch, it came back to square one. Any reason? It will always happen. I think that the way that our minds always work, it always happens. There are times when I slip into that victim mentality, or I slip in terms of feeling overwhelmed or my apocalyptic thinking. The difference is that when we train ourselves and we condition ourselves with mindsets to make that thought stronger, it's how quickly you flip that round. I think you will always have those triggers, those processes. You will never fully be immune to them. But what you can do is be the elite operator and turn that on its head. You can turn self-negative chat into self-positive chat. You can fight against what you're trying to do. Every single morning, my purpose of my morning routine is to prepare my mind for the day before any fucker can come into my world and disrupt it with their negativity and their shit. If I didn't do that, that negativity coming into my world, I'd be like, oh my God, I can't handle it. And that's why we must train our brains as much as we train our bodies. And the emotions are and mastering your emotions are the byproduct of that. Make sense? How much time do I need to set aside for my day, myself daily to do the 28-day challenge? Good question, William. So not a lot of time. All right, is the key thing here. I think if you put aside 15 to 20 minutes, you don't even need that. When we put up one of the modules, you go away and you think about that module, just like the challenge here, right? It's not as intense as this 5-day challenge, by the way. There's not challenges every fucking morning. All right, we realize that you have to build this program alongside your lifestyle. So it's got to be manageable, right? So in theory, at 9 o'clock, Monday to Thursday, the modules go up. You watch the video, which takes anywhere between 4 and 9 minutes. You then reflect. And then at lunch break or in the evening, you would then fill out your answer to doing that. And it's as simple as that. When you come in the mornings and you've done your morning routine, you'll come into the app, you'll put your accountability about what you did. It's kind of like your streak, your tick to say, I've shown up, I'm ready to go. On the Breakthrough Mondays, it literally takes you maybe 5 minutes to write what your biggest breakthrough is, but you're connecting with it. Your planning phase, it might take you a little longer. So it might take you about 20 minutes on a Saturday morning when we put the post up. You fill out your journal. I'll show you that on Friday. And you fill out your journal and you put it up and you put all the things that you're going to achieve in there. Okay, so it's not a great deal of time, but you are just consistently in your mind. Does that make sense? It's practical versus mental and reflection. Obviously the workshops, they're around 2 hours. Okay, anywhere between 2 hours as I work through most of the guys and we get to your breakthroughs, your outcomes, your thinking forwards. All right, hope that helps. What is the one main thing to create the fire in the belly? Good question, really good question. And I think it's the emotional connection. Okay, without the spark, there is no fire. The spark is the emotional connection showing up. Okay, and I have a professional one and a personal one. The professional one I've already told you, in terms of if I didn't show up one day, it could cost somebody to make that wrong decision. Personally, is to make sure I see all of my kids get married. Okay, if you don't want to get married, you're getting married. But if they're to be in that position, I always think my youngest is 3 months in there. If she can get to 30 and I'm still alive, I fucking won. Okay, I'm planning to live to 100. I'm planning to do 100 miler on my 100th birthday. Okay, that's my fucking aim. I'm going for it. I'll be like that. Fucking 100. Let's go. To add context, I'm in the army, about to become a sergeant. I hate the job, but it pays the bills. I drink to combat the stress I take home with me. I hate the fact that I take stress from work home and me and take it on the family. 100%. So, Kane, I can 100% relate to that, especially having been in the military myself. I used to see a lot of those corporals and a lot of those sergeants fucking lifeless, man. Lifeless. And I get that it pays the bills. But what else can pay the bills? Other fucking jobs, other fucking companies. Okay, and I think it's making sometimes that decision. You have to be you've already found your emotional connection right there. Okay, you found it right there. I hate the fact I take stress from work home with me and take it out on my family. That's your emotional connection. If that keeps going, will there be a family in 2 or 3 years? That's my question to you. That's a tough question to take, right? You're like, fucking jeez. Slow it down there, Boardman, in my face. But will there be? Will your wife continuously put up with the shit that you bring in? The answer is no. And I know that for a fact. I know that because I've seen many breakups through military life, through that combat and that stress. So you have to really attain to what you want to change and the reasons that you want to change. Cool. All right, looks like all the questions. If there's any more questions, guys, I'll come in tomorrow and I'll check them tomorrow. We're talking morning routines. I hope you've enjoyed this evening. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow night.